Wow, I just got done talking with Maghon Taylor. She's the founder of All She Wrote Notes, and she essentially spreads happiness with her hand lettering. She has been all over the world teaching her hand lettering. I saw her do an interview with the Hallmark Channel. She is recently on the Chick-fil-A podcast. She's on numerous different podcasts too. So it was just a joy to have her to share a messaging with all of us at Love Light Stories. And one of the big reasons I wanted to bring her on here is just for a pop of fresh air and fun and liveliness, and just because of the joy she brings. And so it's a little bit different. We're not talking to a nonprofit. We're not talking about ministry work. We're getting a lens into a small business owner's life and the business that she has. Yet at the same time, the ministry piece and the messaging that she shares is very synonymous with the messaging of Love Light Stories. So that's part of why I wanted to bring her on here, because she has great messages of joy, hope, love, excitement, happiness, and just light. So anyway, I'm really excited for you to take a look at this interview. She has a lot of wisdom, and it's really just a lot of fun. So let's just jump right in.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just beyond excited because this is kind of a special episode, if you will, because you have so much joy and happiness, and you're a small business actually. So it's interesting because we're not looking at this from a nonprofit perspective. We're not looking at the ministry perspective, yet you have a big perspective in the area of faith and happiness and joy and love and hope. And I think that is a thread of all the messaging in Love Light Stories and all the videos that we've done so far. And that's why I wanted to invite you on, because we're going through a kind of a crazy time right now, and we could all use a little bit of happiness and some hand lettering, which we'll get into. So anyway, I just want to share quickly before I let you roll with everything is we met at Dream Big with Bob Goff this fall. We went to onsite and we ended up being roommates of all things. And you walked in with your bright, colorful clothes. And I was like, who is this girl? This is awesome. And like your smile. And I learned that you teach hand lettering, which is crazy because I was learning hand lettering at the time to kind of put pen to paper and tell stories. So anyway, I just had to share that because I think it's really neat how we met and all of that. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, if you just want to share how All She Wrote Notes started and all that whole story.
Sure. As Stephanie said, I'm Maghon Taylor. I'm the owner of All She Wrote Notes, which is a calligraphy and hand lettering studio that is based right here above my garage in Eli, North Carolina. I'm coming up on 8 years in business, and I have an online shop that sells bright and colorful, meaningful gifts. And then I teach hand lettering, as she said, both in person and online. And my mission behind everything I do is spreading happiness through my handwriting. So I've always grown up as a doodler. I've always loved drawing. I was the kind of kid that would like pass notes in class, and the teachers would threaten like, "Ooh, if I catch that, I'm going to open it up and read it to everybody." And I would be like, "Open it up, show it around. Like, I worked really hard." I was always like carrying around a bag of markers using every color I could get my hands on. And it really wasn't until well after college that I started my business, but I had the idea and the passion for it for years and years and years. I remember after college going to a book club and bringing calligraphy note cards that I had made as a hostess gift. And a friend of mine said, "Megan, I've never seen calligraphy look so fun." And I don't know 100% that was the compliment. Like, I think she just didn't know what to say. It was so much more whimsical, so much more casual, not formal or elegant at all. Like, I learned a long time ago, like, that is not the word that people use to describe me. Like, nobody's ever going to say she was elegant or she was formal. And I was really just putting my own personality onto the paper. I was going through and doing new skills that I was learning. Calligraphy, I was learning hand lettering, pretty much teaching myself, but just with my own personality and my own spin. I think it's so common that we look to other people online that are doing what we want to do or what we aspire to do, and we compare ourselves to them and to their work and their business that might be years and years ahead of us. And I was comparing myself to other calligraphers online at the time, and they were so much more formal and so elegant and so romantic. Everything back then was just blush and neutral and gold foil and just so gorgeous, and here I was like rainbow bright, like with curls and swirls and bold letters. And she told me that it looked fun, and that just gave me so much permission to just be me, that it was okay that it didn't look fancy, and it was okay it didn't look elegant, it was okay it didn't look like all these other people, it looked like me, and it was my personality. And so I really took that and ran with it. That night, from my bed on my iPhone 4, I started All She Wrote Notes, and I had one follower, which was me on my other account. And I never looked back. I think so many times we wait till we have the perfect name or the website or the business card or the logo, and we plan out a launch. And I think sometimes it's fun just to go for it and just to put yourself out there into the world with no expectations, and just let God guide you, like step by step, every step of the way. And it's been an amazing, incredible journey. I've taught more than 10,000 people in person. The Happy Hand Lettering class, I've taught thousands more online. I have a book that came out last year. I travel all across the world on that mission to spread happiness through my handwriting, plus run the online shop. And it's just been incredible what God has provided in the people, and just the path that He's helped me walk along over the past 8 years. And I never, ever could have imagined that it would be what it is today.
It's amazing. And I actually, since we met each other last October, I've seen you be on the Homework channel. I saw you on the Chick-fil-A podcast. I've searched for other podcasts that you were on, and there was a list of them. So you're just your hand lettering is out there, girl.
I love it. I think I just have a different approach than a lot of people. I make it approachable. I want to teach that to you, just like I would teach my best friend, sitting at my kitchen table. I am not formally trained. I did not go to art school. I'm not going to talk to you about fonts and how they mix together. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm just a girl who has carried on a bag of markers since she could walk. And I just love reigniting that passion, that creativity in other people, and especially women. I think we fight perfectionism so hard on a daily basis, every single day. And just finding a space where we can feel creative again, that we can feel like we're that little girl passing notes to her friends in school again. And I think all of us have that inside of us in some way, shape, or form. Children are born creative. My son is 3. He thinks he's the best artist. So do I. I love everything he makes, and I'm so excited and so proud. And it's at some point along the way, we start to question ourselves, and we start to think oh, theirs looks better than mine, or I'm not good at this. And I love to remind people that they are.
Yeah, I love that. And that leads into another question about just encouragement in this time. But I have to ask, because when you're talking about being a little girl carrying your markers around, passing notes, it makes me think of the story of your name. Can you just share that? Because I think it's really unique.
Yes, my name is Maghon, and it's spelled Maghon. And my mom made that up, y'all. That is not how you spell Maghon. She was just stringing letters together. And she says to this day that she spelled it that way because it looked prettier to write. And so I think all along I was destined to have pretty handwriting or be a calligrapher or an artist in some way, shape, or form. God's plan, not my plan, but I am loving every minute of it. I enjoy it so much. And as a kid, I did not like that name at all. I was kind of whenever the substitute teacher would come and they're going down the roll, she'd be like, Maghon, mahogany. I'm here. And whatever she said, all day long, the kids would be like, Maghon, and I'm it's just Maghon. But my mom was very extra, so
that's
there
so
we have
funny.
it.
And you were destined to be a pretty hand letterer. So that's amazing. Okay, so switching to, there's no denying it. We're kind of in this midst of a global pandemic, and things are actually starting to open up, at least right now, which is amazing. But can you just give us a little bit of insight into, well, first of all, do you ever have a bad day? I don't know, because you are so happy and cheerful, but I'm guessing you probably do. So when you do, what are some of the things that you do or you think about, or in what ways could you encourage people that are kind of in a slump right now?
Yeah, I definitely have bad days. I think everyone does, but I think for me, I am just trained to compare that day to my worst day, like the worst day of your life. So
Yeah.
if you're having a bad day and you like lose your car keys, you're like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
through. I've been through harder things in this. I've survived harder things in this, and that's just the mindset that I used to walk through life. But with that said, we have had all the feels like for quarantine. We have gone through the highs and the lows. My son was in full-time daycare and they had to close down due to the pandemic, and so that was a surprise to me, who works full-time from home. I had interviews scheduled, I had deadlines, I had orders to ship, and then I had a sidekick
Yeah.
that put stickers on upside down. And so that was a little crazy. I mean, I drank a whole bottle of wine the first week that he was home. Like it was really dark times. At that time, my husband was still working. He was on night shift, and then he lost his job. And so just when we were getting kind of used to that normal, we kind of had the financial fears thrown at us with a whole entire income source being taken away. And it turned out to be such a blessing in the midst of everything else, just to have that time together and just to slow down. Up until this quarantine, I'd been on an airplane every single month for probably the last 18 months. Like, I had a book coming out, I was traveling around, I was on tour. I just have always been go, go, go. And that's the life I prayed for. That's exactly what I wanted. I went happily. Like, you've seen my suitcase. Like, it has
Yes.
confetti all over. Like, I love traveling and I love being out there and being able to spread my message and my heart with the world. But I had been feeling the Lord telling me to slow down. And I had every single week for the past almost 8 years, I had taught a lettering class live. And I, for whatever reason, had just felt it on my heart to not book past April. It was like I couldn't even see the calendar. It was like he was just holding me back and telling me, just slow down, just wait. I've got something better. Just be still, just hang on. And I was trying so hard to be obedient. And I get people asking me every single day to come somewhere and book and go somewhere. And I mean, I just was like, are you sure about this? Like, I'm not sure. I hope you're sure. And I just had a lot of worries, and it came to a point that I didn't even get to choose. It was just forced upon me that I wasn't going to get to go anywhere in April, in May, now June, and probably a lot further into the year. But I needed to slow down. Like, I needed that break. I needed to be still. I needed to enjoy my family more and to soak them in, and just to take a breath and to take care of myself and my health, and just so many things that had gone to the wayside. I mean, I'd lived out of a suitcase for over a year and a half, and it's just such a different life that we were actually been able to just have as a gift, and like a trial period because since he was home for 7 weeks without pay. So that was wild. I mean, I was the only income source for our family running my business, and thankfully and gratefully my customers rallied like they never have before and really showed up and placed orders, and just really, we just felt so surrounded and supported, and just had faith the whole entire time that God was going to work this out, and that we believe that he works for the good of those who love him. And even when I was at Dream Big, I said that my dream and my goal was for him to not have to work night shift. He had been on night shift for almost 8 years, and it just takes a toll after a while. Like, we never really complained. We didn't really understand what we were missing until he was home, and we got to eat dinner as a family, and we got to have that time together. And right as he was getting the call to come back to work, back on nights, we found out that there was going to be an opening on days. And so coming out of the pandemic, coming out of all this stress and all these fears and all these worries, we get granted the life that we always wanted and the life that we always prayed for. And it was just in God's timing. And I know that there are people who are still in the thick of it. They might have sick family. They might have lost a job. They might be worried or be stressed or be afraid. And I just say that there's, the rainbow comes after the storm, and I will never take that for granted, and just what we had to go through to get here. But I'm just so happy to be here. And if that's what it took for us to be able to get this schedule and the shift that we hoped and prayed for. Like I would do it again. And I'm just so grateful and just thankful for my family and our health. And I mean, I miss my friends. I miss my parents. I miss TJ Maxx. There's a lot of things that we had to sacrifice during this time. But I think it's all about trying your best to look for the good when you can.
Yeah.
And there's going to be seasons in your life where it does not feel like there's any silver lining, and it doesn't feel like there is going to be, the sun's going to come out tomorrow, but just hanging on and just trying to root yourself in what you have that you're grateful for. And you hear a lot of people say this, but I do a gratitude practice. Like every single day I wake up and I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. And usually it's something that happened yesterday, like the day before. Because I find if you get too specific, like clothes, water, food, like, okay, it's the same thing like every day. But of course I'm thankful for those things, but I like thinking of specific people or instances or God things that he did, the day before, and just being able to put down gratitude. And it's amazing that even on your hardest days, like even on the worst days, you're still able to find something to be thankful for. Maybe those days only had 6 or 7 things that I could think of and pop right out of my pen, but it was still something good. And if I could give any encouragement to anybody that is having a hard season or that's still in that, just look for what you do have instead of what you don't, and just to try to cling to the hope and the promise that things are going to get better. And I don't know when, I don't know how long that you're going to be in that season, but if you can just choose to praise him in the storm, I really, really believe that things will be better on the other side.
I love that. There are so many nuggets of good little thoughts and tidbits in there. I could probably talk about them all day long if I'm honest. But thanks for sharing that. And it makes me think about, everything you're saying, I can see it translated into your work, like the different sayings you have: new mornings, new mercies, let your light shine, all these little sayings that you actually have in your book, and that give us a way in which to take those internal messages and make them outward facing and make them into something beautiful. And I think you've done a really good job about that, or with that. So let's just transition to talk all about your book, because that's where people can really, I think, start making that applied into their life too, and sending message of love and happiness and joy to other people. So this is your book. I have it because I actually have 2 copies because when I came and saw you, I wanted to get it autographed, which I don't know if you can see, but see, she autographed. So so when did your book come out? Can you give us kind of the theme within your book and what people can expect inside of it?
Yeah, so our book was published in August of 2019. So last August 6th, it was launched out into the world, and it's published with Dayspring, which is a faith-based publisher. Dayspring is a subsidiary of Hallmark. So think greeting cards, Dayspring. So books are relatively new to them. And they came to me a few years ago with this idea, and I was just so excited. They had heard me teach a class and speak, and how I infuse words of wisdom or encouragement, or I don't care if you like your handwriting or not when you leave. I just want you to feel happier. I want you to feel lighter. I want you to feel more hopeful. And I really love to be able to put those messages in with the skills of learning hand lettering. And so we did this together over about a year and a half to be able to get it out into the world. And it's 144 pages. It's a thick, big lettering book. And what I wanted to do is, when I set about writing this, I wanted it to be part devotional, part lettering lessons. And so that when you go to practice, there are meaningful words, positive words, affirmations, things that will speak to your heart and your soul, and also kill 2 birds with 1 stone, being able to letter and learn and practice. And so it's really special because I've gotten to tell so many stories. I've gotten to talk about things that make me happy. It's called Happy Hand Lettering. People have asked me ever since I was a little kid, are you always so happy? And it's a way that I can break that down and tell you, yes, but here's why. And here are the choices that I make, and here are the things that I do that I think do set me apart and make me different from your average everyday person. And it's just been amazing to see the takeaways that people are using this brand new gift to spread it to others. And of course, that is my heart and mission behind everything, is spreading that happiness. It's not supposed to be kept to yourself. Don't be greedy. Don't be selfish with your newfound skills. I want you to share that and give that. And share, your heart and write down other people's names, because your handwriting is a legacy. And that is something that will outlive you, that people will continue to keep and save and savor for years and years to come. And it's in a world where everything is digital and we're all about texting and emails and computer and websites, this is something tangible, and this is something that you're going to be able to hold and give, and that just will pass, forward years and years from now, that people will be able to hold on to. And so I love being able to teach hand lettering. I say that it's just a fancier version of your regular handwriting. Like, if you know the alphabet, you can do this. Like, I got you. I will hold your hand every step of the way. But when we set out to write this, I had been teaching for 7 years at that point. I knew common questions. I knew what people, kind of needed to know. But the other books that were on the market just seemed to be a lot of practice letters. They wouldn't really talk to you. They wouldn't really tell you anything. There was no heart. It was just pretty beautiful letters with space to write, like practice paper. And so I was like, I don't want someone to pay $20 for a practice notepad, right? Like, I wanted there to be a lot more content in there. And so we have intentionally just put every single word and phrase. I grew up carrying around a quote book, and I would hear a quote or save a quote basically for my AIM away messages, which you're probably too young for that. But I used to put these beautiful quotes as my away messages on Instant Messenger. And so I have basically created an adult quote book, all the practice, you can have it all there together. And it's just scripture and fun and inspirational and positive words. And so we've gotten a tremendous response. It sold out several times, and they continue to keep restocking. And we got it on shelves in Barnes and Noble, and it's on Walmart and Target online, and just far bigger and better places than I ever could have imagined. And I know that having God's hand in this and having His stories and His scripture and His messages, it's just amazing the people that we're able to reach whenever we do that together. And so I'm very excited and proud of it. And we've got another book coming out in January of 2021, and that is called Betty Confetti, and it is a children's book about turning your mistakes into confetti. So as a lettering artist, I mess up every day. I always spell stuff wrong, or I will just write an ugly letter and I scribble it out, and I'm like, I can't, that cannot fly. And so really early on in my business, I started running all of my scrap paper through my office shredder, and out came the most beautiful confetti that you have ever seen. And it's been such an awesome metaphor for life, that things are going to go wrong. It's not if, but when. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to mess up, you're going to face hard things, but it's not about what happens. It's what you choose to do with what happens to you that really makes you who you are. And I encourage people, not only in lettering, but in their life, just to turn their mistakes into confetti. And so I am just so excited and honored to share that message on a childhood level. I wish that someone had told me that as a little girl, that it was okay if I wasn't perfect, that God still loves me. And as long as I'm trying and learning, I can continue to grow. And so that comes out with cute rhymes and cartoon pictures and all the things that kids' books are known for in January. So that was really, truly my dream all along. And so it's awesome to be able to put that out into the world.
That's amazing. You're going to have the whole family just so happy and joyful, and there's going to be confetti all over the house because the adults and the kids are going to be playing.
I love it.
That's awesome. Okay, so Maghon, my last question, pretty simple, but I know people are probably going to want to go find you. And if they don't, I'm really encouraging them to, because there's a lot of color, happiness, and fun on your page. So where can people find you?
Yes, my Instagram is All She Wrote Notes, and Facebook is All She Wrote Notes, and the website is allshewrotenotes.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. All right. Well, Maghon, this has been such an honor and so much fun. It's just a joy to get to see your face again and chat and connect. And so thank you so much sharing your brightness, and I'm just very thankful for all of that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking to Maghon. I think afterwards we both commented that our cheeks hurt from smiling so much. And so I hope your cheeks hurt too. That means you enjoyed the interview. But really, her message of love and hope and light and encouragement is just so beautiful. And I really loved how she shared about what God has been doing in her life and in her business recently, and how she's just really been trying to lean on Him and stay in in tune to what he has for her and where he's leading her in her business and with her family, and really how that's even blessed her recently, with her husband being able to work day shifts and the schedule that's created for them, and other things too. It's really just a beautiful testament of God being there for his children, and I loved how she shared that. So if you found this interview to be encouraging, or you love what Maghon does, just feel free to share this with someone that you care about. Share about All She Wrote Notes, and of course, like I said, I have 2 copies of this book already. I would totally recommend going to check it out. I can even put a link to her website, which has the book and then a bunch of other fun things too, in the description of this video if you're interested. And there'll be another video coming out every Tuesday, so if you'd like to go to lovelightstories.com, you can sign up there to receive an email the next time a video and a story comes out. And until next time, I'll be thinking of you, I'll be praying for our world, and I'll be working on my happy hand lettering. So see you next time.